really a lot of fun to work with, though. He really is.
They are asking like thoughts on Overeem's level strike.
Oh.
Oh my god. People on Twitter sometimes
They're so mean. Okay, so Evie, we're live again. Hello, everybody. I'm here with Evie Rodriguez, and we were just talking about Twitter and how amazing some fans are with like how quickly they go for the kill and the jugular about talking smack about somebody. What have you been reading?
I've been reading a lot of things about Shogun's loss and about Overeem's loss. You know, they're talking about the way the Overeem lost to like how the K1 style. That was.
But you got to give it up to Travis. That kick was incredible.
Yeah, I agree. And Travis was amazing today. You know, I thought that the fight was done at the beginning. Like, he took a lot of punches and knees. So. Well,
it was funny too. I saw Stitch Duran right after. I was out at my seat, and he comes over and he's all fired up after Travis. I mean, he was just fired up, and he's like, "I told Travis he must be part Brazilian." Like with a kick like that. Stitch is like so into it. But we joke that you kind of speak for Brazil when we're at these things. But I know everybody's taking the Shogun loss pretty hard. So what are you reading about that?
That Shogun didn't prepare himself like in the way that he was supposed to. They're kind of going too hard on Shogun right now because we saw his preparation, and everything that he did this week, like for this whole 3 months that he trained. So it's sad to read that. Really, I'm sad right now.
I think he was prepared. I think Chael did what everybody expected he was going to do. But we were kind of talking before. We were saying like it's hard because if you're a Shogun fan, like you kind of feel like you didn't even get to see a Shogun fight. And obviously that's not to take anything away from Chael because that's what Chael does, and you knew he was going to do that. But the Shogun fan in you was like, but I didn't get to see a Shogun fight tonight.
Yeah, we were talking about that actually because the problem is not the loss, it's how he lost. Totally. He lose,
Yeah.
Because like that fight against Dan Henderson was amazing. And it was just the way that he did. That was kind of, I think that's why Brazil is so hard on him right now on Twitter.
Well, you have Diego Brandão.
Yeah, at least we had one Brazilian winning this night, right?
Yeah. What did you think about how Yuri was doing? He came out so great at the beginning, so strong, and all of a sudden everybody was like, oh, snap, we got a fight here. Uriah is in a fight, but how'd you feel about that one?
I think he knew that if he won like against Faber, he was supposed to go like right away, and he was going to go to the finish, like he was trying to submit him right away because he knew that Faber is so good on his gas, like he fights so good and he has a lot of gas all the time. So I think that's what happened. I think he was thinking like that too. I spoke with the people that were with him before and after the fight, and they said that was like the game plan actually.
All right, well, I want to get back to the Diego Brandão for a second too, because he didn't come here for post-fight interviews. They said he went directly to the hospital, and you have heard that he may have broken.
I spoke with his PR, and he might have broken his right hand. Okay. So they're checking that in the hospital right now. He's doing some X-rays to see like how out. It's kind of. I don't know.
Well, I think that with their history, obviously, a fight between Vanderlei and Chael will get a lot of eyeballs. It's really one side or the other side. I think, you know what I mean. That's a fun fight, and that's a U.S. versus Brazil. It's the bad guy. Maybe getting his comeuppance from Vanderlei after the teeth thing.
But also, like against Vitor is gonna be Brazil against USA.
Of course.
I don't know why Vitor is calling him out right now because he said that he was going to wait to fight for the belt. So, it's kind of crazy too, I guess.
And I actually should ask, it's funny because when you're in Brazil, you see Vitor in a lot of commercials, and, I know in the past he's been at soap operas, and he's very, very popular. But at the same time, I feel like there's a certain element of Brazilians that kind of roll their eyes, that roll their eyes at Vitor. And, to me, he's always been very gracious in person and lovely. But I know that a lot of people, he kind of rubs them the wrong way, right?
People like him, but they say that he talk a lot. And he was the guy that was a coach for Tough, the first one. So I think what they showed on the reality show was also that was not really good for his image, because like Vanderlei was making fun of him all the time, was being really funny and and he got more attention than Vitor, and that is something that maybe didn't play well for him.
Yeah, maybe. It's interesting. So who would you personally prefer to see Chael fight, Vanderlei or Vitor?
I think Vanderlei, I don't know. I don't know if Vitor should fight Chael right now, especially after this fight tonight,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just cannot imagine what Chael's going to talk about Brazil after submitting.
She's going to take it sensitive. All 95 pounds of Revi about to get all up in some Chael right now. You're going to shut him down, right?
Yes. Oh my.
Fecha la boca. Fecha a boca.
Cala a boca. Fica quieto. Yeah.
That's too much. Well, what did you, I have to say this is, I'm from Boston. And I don't live here right now. My mom still lives nearby and stuff. But what'd you think of Boston this week?
I didn't have too much time to walk around, because I was in my hotel just writing, but I didn't see too much. I didn't get to see the city really. I was here right before the bombs, though, it was the week before.
Oh yeah.
So I like it. I was just walking around a little bit, but it was winter time, kind of, So.
It's a beautiful place, and there's a lot of great food. I just dropped something here. Yeah, I dropped my glasses. Why, thank you so much. Thank you. So tonight was the first time I got to meet Conor McGregor. And that kid is fantastic. I mean, I really already liked him going in terms of his personality. I like his willingness to scrap with anybody, and I like when people, talk a little bit of smack, but he goes in to back it up. So we already have a post-fight interview out with him if you guys want to look at that after. But he said in that obviously, and he said in the post-fight interview that he really messed up his knee. So he was saying that, he had to kind of improvise, and that's when he did that rolling flip thing that he does. He actually says he practices that a lot, but it usually works when the other person is closer, and there go the glasses again. I'll get them. Thank you for that, though. You're lovely for trying. I'll get it after. But Conor was fun tonight, and so he wasn't the scrapper that we see because of the knee injury. But I thought he was very entertaining, and I liked him. What did you think?
I agreed, and he was kind of Nick Diaz, calling for the fight. Come here, and that was something that was good too, because Boston was cheering for him so crazy. You could feel the energy, and he was pretty great. I can see why he think that the fight was not good though, because he didn't fight the way that he wanted, but. He did a good job. It's the second fight only on the UFC, right? So. Well,
yeah, and he's just one of those guys who I'm getting very hot. Can you hold that for a second? There's a million people in here now.
Okay.
He wanted to go for the finish, and so the fact that he didn't get the finish was very frustrating to him. But he said something really hilarious. Hi there. That he said that in the audience he ran into at least I think it was 5 full-fledged leprechauns. There were people dressed as leprechauns, and like I said, here in Boston, we know that there's a great Irish population, and they're a lot of fun, very spirited group. Did you see any leprechauns tonight?
Yes, I saw 3. I took pictures of them to global.com. Yeah, I said.
I missed the leprechauns.
I was wearing a big hat, and it was so funny.
It's hilarious. No, I missed the leprechauns, but I'm bummed. And so one of the other people we spoke to earlier already was Michael McDonald. And, we kind of agreed that Brad Pickett's head we don't know what that is made of. I said on our Facebook page that Brad Pickett's head is harder than completing an MIT dissertation, which I thought was kind of clever. But can you believe, we were like, can you believe he kept coming back? And he's like, no, what is it, what did you think of that fight? I thought it was very entertaining.
I thought the fight was over way before, and I was like, oh my God, it was really entertaining, really. And I think he was so prepared, he was so good, doing everything that he could to finish too. But was just a hard opponent.
Well, yeah, no, Brad Pickett's amazing. It was interesting too. You know, Michael was saying afterward that I asked him about fighting Renan Barão, and it didn't go his way. But what do you learn from something like that? And he said, yeah, it wasn't even really about Renan specifically. It was just about being in that fight. I learned a lot, and I learned. He said he had a huge list of things that he thought were mistakes that he went back and fixed, and that he feels like he applied better in this fight. He's a really thoughtful young guy, I think, and quite a good future for him.
He's pretty young too, I can imagine when he'll be like the same age as Barão. It's gonna be like amazing. He's amazing.
So how is Renan Barão? Do you see him? Do you go down to Brazil and see him at all? Do you follow up with him?
I live in Vegas, so...
I know you do. And that stinks you don't get to go to the Brazil cards, right?
That's too bad. I wish I could go, and watch the fights down there too, because I heard the crowd is pretty crazy and amazing.
It is. I was in Fortaleza not too long ago. I was in Belo Horizonte last year, which brings me to Belo Horizonte. Upcoming, Glover Teixeira, Ryan Bader. I mean, I know Brazilians have loved Glover for quite some time, and I think he is, just in person, he is a sweetheart of a guy, but very dangerous. How do you think that fight's going to go?
I hope Glover wins, because I think he's in a crazy... he's winning a lot of fights. Like, I think... He didn't lose in a long time, right? Since he came to the USA, he was trying to get into the UFC. He worked in construction. He has a really hard pass, and I think he overcome too much to be there. So he's gonna do whatever it takes to get the title shot, and I think he's gonna win. And I hope it's the first. Yeah, I think.
So do you think, let's say, if whatever happened, if Glover was to fight Chris Weidman, what do you think would... no, I'm sorry. They're in a different class. I'm like, because I just keep thinking of Anderson is not the... I know, it's like, wait a minute. Yeah, exactly. It's John Jones. Durr. We have a very long day here, people. We get here very, very early. But how do you think he would do against John?
I think he's the only guy in that division that could maybe win. Yeah. Yes.
And why?
Everybody says that because he has so heavy hands and he's so well prepared. He's a well-rounded fighter, and I just feel that, and I've interviewed a lot of fighters actually about that, and they've said that.
Were they all Brazilian though, the people you spoke to?
No. Actually not.
Surprisingly, all the Brazilians think that he's going to win.
Chuck Liddell is in his corner, so...
Wow, Chuck Liddell thinks that Glover's going to win. Revolutionary facts. No, that's you. And you know what? Glover is a great guy, and we see him training with Machida all the time down at Black House. I'm actually curious what you thought of that Machida decision. Phil Davis getting the win in Brazil. What did you think of that?
I could see how Phil Davis won, because Machida didn't do too much, but it was a weird decision. I don't know. It was a close fight. I didn't think that Phil Davis did too much more than Lyoto. That was a bad thing for him.
Lyoto was going to get a 2-1 win.
Me too. I agree. But didn't happen that way.
No, it didn't happen. I just want to let people know there's some good people starting to funnel in. Greg Jackson back there looking psyched.
A lot of followers.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, you guys, you need to follow Evie. She's great. She does a lot of great work, and she's really sweet. So, and she helps me practice my Portuguese.
Yeah,
right.
A lot of Portuguese. Sorry.
Okay, so and by the way, let me just clarify something. On the Yuri Alcantara interview the other day in the scrum, he's doing his whole bit all in Portuguese. I ask a question. He looks at his translator guy. The translator guy says exactly what I said, right? And then I look at Evie, I'm like, come on. I'm like, I swear to God I said it right. I did.
I told you what happened, right? I think Yuri, he knows that nobody that would speak Portuguese, just me, so he was not even paying attention. He was just like looking, around. Right. He's not really comfortable when he needs to do like big interviews, I think that's what happened. It's not your fault. You were doing great.
Thank you, haters. Shut down. But no, it's actually funny because the interview we have with Yuri, if you look at him, he's like,
yeah.
Oh dear, that is a man who was not used to press, you know what I mean?
And he was not even looking. I can't sure.
I know.
So they kind of now with the people from... I have to be prepared though, I think, yeah. I've never interviewed him. I've interviewed Frank Mir though, He's great. He's a nice guy.
But Josh is funny because Josh likes to... he likes to kind of...
And I apologize for my English, because I'm just speaking English. for 3 years. So
Your
it's
English is fantastic. Better than a lot of people I know who are American.
No. I'm still practicing. Okay.
All right. Enjoy the press conference, everybody.
Yeah.
That way, this was awesome. You know, there was one fight that I didn't love on this card. Sure, I don't have to say what it was, but I'm sure you'll try to make me. But it was a great card. Everybody came in, everybody fought hard, everybody delivered. It was an awesome, amazing night. The crowd couldn't have been better. They were here early for all the fights. They cared about all the fights, and yeah, I couldn't be happier.
And Travis, I could ask you, obviously the kick ended up being a big weapon for you. That's been a bad thing for you in the past as well. I'm curious, did you know, I mean, you threw the kick a lot. Did you know coming in that was going to be your strategy and that was going to be the weapon you tried to use?
Yeah, you know, we looked at him from his K1 days and all of his pretty much UFC fights, and we looked for a common denominator in what he did and some of his openings. And, you know, we came up with a game plan, and I didn't really execute it when I was laying on the ground crying like a little girl. But when I stood up, it just all it did was make me angry. And I knew I wasn't going to go back down. I wasn't going to go down one more time. And I just moved forward and started executing our game plan.
During that flurry while you were on the ground, we thought he landed an illegal knee while you were down. Do you remember that sequence? And did you feel like maybe you did get struck with an illegal shot?
I thought he did too.
Yeah, no, I didn't. You know, at the end of the day, man, this is a fight. This is what I signed up for. And something like that happens, you know, I know he's not trying to do anything on purpose, you know. I mean, at the end of the day, you're just going out there to do your job. And I didn't feel anything different. I just felt him hitting me.
E o Sonnen foi feliz e eu fui infeliz, né? E o recado para o brasileiro é que eu dei meu máximo. Eu sou a pessoa que menos quero perder, sou eu. Então eu que subo lá em cima, que leva porrada na cara, então eu sou a pessoa que menos quero perder. Mas não deu, hoje não deu.
So I'm really sad with the loss. Nobody wants to lose when you get there. Tonight, Sonnen was happy and I'm not. I just want to say that when I go there, when I go inside the octagon, I don't want to lose. I try my best, and that's what I did tonight. So I just want to say that tonight was not my night.
Diana, Chael called Vanderlei Silva inside the octagon. He called him out. Is that fight can happen?
Well, it's obviously a fight that Chael wants, but there's a lot of options right now at 205. he could fight there. He could fight at 185 because obviously the media has had him ranked number 8 or 9 at 185 underneath guys that he actually beat. So, obviously a win over Shogun puts him in a great place at 205 and puts him in a great place at 185.
Last question for Faber. I just want to know, like, how is your jaw and your thoughts on the fight on Yuri?
My jaw's okay. I thought I broke it after that first little, when he was punching me in the face a bunch. It hurt when I turned back around and pissed me off. And but I don't think it's broken. I've been eating, and Yuri's tough. I think it was hitting hard, and exactly how I got in a bad position, but I think it was some sort of lateral drop.
Over here, man. Hey, you had been talking, we'd been talking, you'd mentioned wanting Anderson, but tonight you talked about Wanderlei. And I want to get your thoughts on which guy, I know you want Wanderlei right now, but why Wanderlei, why'd you call out Wanderlei rather than Anderson? I know Anderson had the fight, but I know how badly you want him.
Well, I'm not chasing the belt. Sometimes I'm just chasing guys. John Jones was an example of that. I just wanted to fight John Jones. He just happened to have the title. Anderson doesn't have the title. The projected biggest UFC of the year, December 28th at the MGM Grand. Anderson's got his hands full. I'm not trying to interject myself in that. But the reality is that frustrates me, and there's some losses that do. And I'm a stubborn guy, and I know he's got 2 wins, but I think I could get him on a 3rd one. That's all I was commenting on. Wanderlei Silva drives me insane. Wanderlei Silva tells the media that he wants to fight me. I would love to fight Wanderlei. Wanderlei insists that fight has never been offered. That has been a big marquee fight for years. This company puts on big marquee fights. To believe that he has not been offered that fight is ridiculous, and it pisses me off. And all I need from him is for him to say he doesn't want to do it. And
he beat Yushin Okami. He beat Brian Stan, and the list goes on and on of guys who are ranked above him. He's beat all these guys. All that stuff comes from you guys. Mm-hmm. You guys rank these guys. You guys. That's where all the talk stuff comes from. He's not talk. I say this all the time. This guy steps up and takes big fights. He asked for the Shogun fight.
Can you give me your thoughts on his performance tonight?
He submitted Shogun Hua. I mean, that's huge. What he did tonight, I don't think anybody saw that coming. And in the beginning, if you look at the betting lines, he started out as the favorite. Chael did, and then it flipped, and Shogun became the favorite. You know how that happens? It means a lot of money went on Shogun for that thing to flip the way that it did. How much stuff they stirred up this week and what they did and how much was on, how much it was talked about.
21 vitórias em 29 lutas.
Admitting a black belt in all your wins, does that stand out more than any other, given the fact that he's so decorated, the only former champion you've beaten, or champion or former champion, and also a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt?
yeah, I think it does. I think it feels good, but it's Shogun. The guy's a former world in the Hall of Fame. He's beat Liddell. He's beat Forrest Griffin. He's beat Machida. He's beat all these guys. He's beat guys that I know and have looked up to, from the Kevin Randlemans to the Mark Colemans of the world. So yeah, it feels good to, whether you squeak out a win or you catch a guy in a good tight lock. It's the
Travis. When Overeem was hitting you, and every time the ref said move, you were moving and everything, but A, how bad were you hurt at that point, and B, were you afraid at all that he's going to jump in and stop, because he was leaning on his front foot a number of times?
Yeah, definitely. I was there mentally the entire time, and that almost made it worse because I could understand what was going on. My body just shut down on me when he hit me, to the body. And I've never had that experience before, not in training, not in a fight. So it was a first for me. But yeah, I was yelling to Mario like, I'm okay. He's all, just move. And so I was like,
it's like fighting at home for me, and but really I don't give a shit. It feels like a loss to me, to be honest. I wanted the finish, and I felt the finish was there for me, and I injured my knee midway through the second. I just can't get it out of my head, but looking back, I should have just pulled my knee from my leg and hit him with it, you know what I mean? That's what I'm up here listening to this guy got off the night, this other guy got off the night, this guy got off the night. I want that. You know what I mean? I don't come here for decisions. We are rewarded for finishes, and that's what I'm looking for. I am a finisher. You know what I mean? And anything else to me other than stealing the show, I planned on stealing the show, and it didn't happen for me. You know, so right now it feels like I'm dealing with a loss at the minute. You know.
Happier in here and a lot happier in here.
And a lot of people felt like you kind of may have gotten rushed a little bit to the top. I'm curious, kind of what you want to do now. I mean, you're still right there at the very top of the division, but it's tied up a little bit. But, I mean, what's your plan? What's your goal right now? Do you feel like, you want to get back to a title shot right away, or do you feel like maybe there is some time for you to grow?
Honestly, I think that will come in time. I'm 22 years old, and it's not, to me, a matter of if I will. It's just a matter of when. And I don't care when. To me, this is about, I'm going to pay for my life with this job. I'm in here for this day. I'm going to pay for my house. I'm going to pay for my kids' college fund. And I'm going to help some people in the process. Yeah, I think the title will happen in time. But that's not what I'm focusing on. I'm just focusing on becoming a better fighter every time.
And it's been fun to watch go up, and we've always had a pretty good relationship, and I think it's a fight that'll probably happen. Yeah, I mean, I don't make the matchups, but I don't want to be getting with any three-piece combos from this kid. And, so it's definitely going to be a battle if it ever happens.
Yeah, to me, this sport isn't about having to hate people and stuff. Brad's a good friend of mine. One of the good people you meet. There's a few people in the sport you just meet that are just good guys. Uriah's a good guy. He's been a friend of mine for a long time, and since my very first fight, I've known him. And if it happens, it happens. Just like what happened with me and Brad Pickett today. We touch gloves and we beat the crap out of each other, hopefully make some money.
I don't know how I'm supposed to go through one of these processes. Vanderlei, not for nothing, he will show up when he says he'll show up. The same thing goes with Anderson Silva. Whether Anderson's hurt or not, if he signs a contract, he shows up, and that means something to me. And some of those other guys don't, and it's tough. Little Nogueira says he wants to fight Shogun. Why would Shogun sign a contract to fight a guy who said that before? He just did that. It's like Brer Rabbit. I wasn't born in the briar patch. Sure you were.
Is it 100% that your next fight will be at 185 pounds?
That was the plan, but let me stick around Boston a couple days. I'm going to get over to a place called Regina's Pizza before we get out to UFC tonight on FS1 on Wednesday.
For Uriah, you obviously came out with some big news this week about wanting some big fights, which a lot of people weren't expecting you to talk about this before the fight. Can you expand now on what you really want?
I'm fighting at 135 pounds, and this was each time I make the weight, I put on more weight in like the 12 hours after the weigh-in. I put on 22 pounds this time.
But I have a now, but you know what I mean. It is what it is. I just went with what was comfortable, and what was comfortable was get the motherfucker to the ground. You know what I mean? And just and just play it from there. You know what I mean? But even still on the ground, I moved to mount. On my arm up, like fucking the Addams Family across. Had an arm choke, and he was just holding on. So even I could have put a bit more effort into looking the posture up, and I hype myself up big, yeah. I hype myself up.
And finally, you said during the week about, I don't want to be that guy, but you said during the week about a return to Ireland, and it's on the cards. You've seen how persistent. Every time you're that guy. You've seen how. I'm happy at doing the You've seen how persistent Conor is as a fighter. The Irish fans have just been on to us all week.
Who's here? Do you know the date we're going to Ireland? Does anybody?
Let's go.
Yeah, we're going to get an answer for you, sir. We will have an answer for you tonight.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. We will not have an answer for you, sir.
I have a couple of questions. First of all, Dana, right here in front. What do you think should be next for Matt Brown on this great streak?
Mr. Fox, I don't know. Obviously tonight, that was a big win for him, man. Mike Pyle is a tough, crafty veteran, man. It's, go again. Matt Brown, accepts this fight tonight, and I'd heard. I'm going to say this. I apologize, but I'd heard in training, things didn't go so well for Matt Brown in training with Mike Pyle, and training is not fighting. Training is not fighting. He came out tonight and made quick work out of a guy whom a lot of people respect, tough, durable guy. So I think that tonight's fight put him in a real good position to, first of all, possibly, get a spot in that top 10 and then fight one of the top, one of the guys in the top 10. I guess that's what I'm looking for.
Matt, can you tell us about the problems in training camp that he just mentioned?
What's up?
Can you tell us about the problems in training camp that he just mentioned? Dana said your training camp might have had some...
No, he said Mike Pyle beat me up in training, and he did. He beats up everybody in training.
We saw that opening all day, and we're with some of the best at Jackson's, and you can ask just about any of my training partners at Jackson's because I've hit everybody with that shot, and they've pretty much all gone. And when I hit him in the gut the first time, I felt him deflate, so I kept going back to it, and then as he kept dropping his elbows further and further, that's when I saw the opening to the head, and I took it.
Thank you. And one question for Michael. I'm just wondering what your thoughts were in between the first and second round. You really put it on him in the first. Looked like you could have got the finish, and he's still hanging around. What do you think of yourself when you go back to your corner, what you have to do to kind of finally finish it?
I was really confused whether he had the toughest chin I've ever touched or whether I lost all my knockout power in between camps. More than anything, it was just kind of realizing, okay, I don't think I'm going to be able to put this guy away like I normally do. I touched him so many times. He's fallen like 3 times, and he just keeps getting back up. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to take the pace and the power down just a tiny bit, and I'm going to just keep landing shots, just keep touching them. And, it's kind of draining when you hit someone like that and you get that huge rush of adrenaline 3 times or 4 times in a fight where your whole body starts working 110 miles an hour to knock someone out, So I was just trying to calm my body and make sure I was good for 3 rounds.
All right, this one's for Chael and then Dana. With your role on Fox as an analyst and a host, and with the majority of the sort of back and forth between you and Vanderlei having taken place on Fox and then again tonight, does it make sense? Would you be trying to stay away from those, Indian casinos, or would you still embrace them like you guys did in the past?
They have a legit, sanctioning body there. We would definitely go there.
Possibly before the end of 2014, you think?
That I don't know when.
And then lastly for Travis Brown, it seems like you and Verdum are the 2 guys in there who should be in line for the next shot after JDS. It looks like he's ready to go. Timetable-wise, just feeling after this fight, I know you said you went limp there for a little bit. Health-wise, do you think you might be ready in a timetable that makes sense to where you guys can maybe get in the octagon, and then the winner of that could be the number 1 contender?
Yeah, possibly. I had some issues during this camp, so I just have to get back to San Diego, spend some time with my boys, recover for a while, and just see how the body recovers in the next couple weeks. I'm always game. I've never said no to a fight, and I've always been ready for anything they throw my way. So it's definitely not out of the question. It's up in there.
I'm going to take 2 more questions, and the answer to your question is the 3rd quarter of next year. Okay? Cool.
For Uriah, you talked about your jaw, but after the fight, you got caught in an armbar early on, and then after the fight, when you were talking to Joe Rogan in the cage, it looked like you were sort of holding everything's cool with the arm.
Yeah, I didn't get caught in an armbar. He tried an armbar. But, my jaw was a little hurt. My worst fights is when someone physically injures me. Like Barao, he broke my rib 2 minutes in. I broke my hand against Mike Brown. Jose Aldo kicked the crap out of my leg. So, but I'll still fight. I'm in there till the bitter end. I'll be hopping after a person, like trying to scratch at him or whatever. But, that armbar was an attempt. He was below the arm, and I wouldn't have cared anyways. And the jaw was bothering me, but it just pissed me off, like I said. So I'm good.
All right, you're so cool. Yeah. And a quick one for Connor. You expressed disappointment in the performance, but as Dana alluded to, you took the fight to the ground. You passed to full mount a couple of times at least. And I'm wondering if you think that this performance, while it wasn't in one of your trademark knockouts, gives some people in your weight class something else to think about.
I don't care what anyone in my weight class thinks. I know what I can do. I know what I do in the gym day in, day out. Another thing, people are saying, oh, you got the 3 rounds in. I don't give a shit about getting the 3 rounds in. I do 300 rounds a week. You know what I mean? You can stick me in for 30 rounds in out there. So I wanted to finish. You know what I mean? I'm looking to get paid here. We get looked after when we finish. This promotion wants finishes. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm looking for. These custom-made suits aren't cheap. You know what I mean? This solid gold pocket watch. 3 people died making this watch. You know what I mean? So I need to put people away. I need them big fights. Or I'm gonna end up in debt pretty fast. You know what I mean? So I'm looking to hurry it along and finish everyone. You know what I mean? So that's my thoughts on it.
We'll take one more question. Yeah,
2 quick
two
ones?
more. Yeah.
For Travis, I don't know if you've been able to sit down and watch replays, but in hindsight, did you think it was sort of like Anderson and Vitor?
No, because Anderson wasn't getting his butt whooped for the first 4 minutes of the fight.
Let's talk about the last 10 seconds.
Okay. Yeah, the last 10 seconds was pretty good. I enjoyed those 10 seconds. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's something that has come to the sport, and you know, there's techniques nowadays that people laughed at, you know, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, but then there's guys out there making it happen and showing that there's a time and a place for every martial art that there is. You know, and that's why I pride myself on being a mixed martial artist, not just a striker, not just a grappler or wrestler. I was blessed to start in this industry four years ago now, and you know, I'm beating the top 5 in the world at heavyweight. So you know, I got to give it up to my coaches for teaching me the sport of MMA.
And lastly, for Uriah, what specifically do you think made Yuri Alcantara such a difficult opponent at the start of your fight? And was it part of your overall strategy to use the cage against him?
Well, I just landed in a bad position right off the bat. We came in, I have to take a look at it. I saw quickly a little replay. It looked like I did like a switch step punch combo and we clinched, and he went right into a lateral drop and got into great position right off the bat. And he rocked me with some of those punches, and I could feel how strong he was. He had leverage, and all I was thinking is just give me an opportunity to punch him. As soon as I had any opportunity, I was giving him little rabbit punches, and that felt good. But, you know, he's good. The guy's rarely lost. He's beat guys that are extremely, you know, talented. He has a knockout over Ricardo Lamas, and my strategy was, I figured speed was going to be a factor that I would be able to take advantage of, and I know that he likes to sit on the guard and wait for arm bars, and I've never been submitted. I've gone against world champions and black belts and things like that, so I definitely wanted to take advantage of the fact that he would stay on the bottom and wait for something, and I was just going to elbow the crap out of him. That's what I did. And we did work on that using the cage, just put the top of his head on the cage. He's tough, man. I hit him with a bunch of elbows.
What are you going to do with Alistair?
I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know.
Seagal teach you that cake?
So we had an amazing week here in Boston. We appreciate you guys very much. Thank you. Have a good night.